I had started to play with an avant-garde free music ensemble called the People Band, really free jazz musicians, wild, wild characters. In fact, I'm just making a documentary about one of the main guys now. And through them, started to see a lot of experimental theatre, performance art. Became really fascinated by that, initially as a musician, because I was just fascinated by how you could start to use music as a kind of very powerful psychological tool. Um, and then it was a kind of a bit of a Mickey, Rooney, Judy Garland moment because we were working very closely with this performance art group. And in a classic traditional way, the musicians and the actors, the performers started to fight and they fell out really badly because the musicians were making too much noise. So the performers couldn't hear themselves talking and ended up with a huge fight, literally in a performance venue after the gig. And it was quite violent. Things were thrown and harsh words were exchanged. And I found myself more sympathetic in a way to the performers than to the musicians because I thought, they've got a point. They've got to be heard. Um, and everybody should back off at certain points and be respectful of each other's space. But, these were avant-garde musicians, so they were not about to, as it were, back a bunch of performers. They didn't see themselves as the backing. They saw themselves as equal. And also being anarchists, they were like, we play when we want to play. We don't shut. We don't have cues, and we're certainly not performing dogs. So we're not going to we're not going to behave in that respect. So I thought about it quite quickly, and I ended up joining the performance group as their chief musician. And then very shortly after that, they had a fight, and a bunch of the actors left, and we had a very important gig. Um, and I was basically told by Mark Long, the main performer, I said, like, Mike, you're on stage, we need someone to actually perform. And there was a kind of seminal moment. I found myself on stage at a very important theatre called the Royal Court Theatre in an amazing festival. It's called the Come Together Festival. And people look back on that festival as being a turning point in British performance. And in the audience was Mick Jagger and all these kind of like A-list kind of, all the cool people. And I was on stage and I was having to riff verbally with this guy and improvise. And I decided I really liked it. I mean, I loved playing music. And I was playing music on stage as well, but I liked this acting, this performance. So I became a performer.